right, and as Chris Canty joins us here from ESPN Radio, it is time to play the game that is sweeping the nation. It is called Can He or Can't He? Here we go. Chris, can Andy Reid surpass Bill Belichick as the best coach ever? Can he or can't he?
Absolutely. Andy Reid has been to the playoffs 19 of the 25 seasons he's been a head coach. That's tied with Don Shula and Bill Belichick for the most postseason appearances. With the next postseason appearance, he'll be able to break that tie, and he also has the opportunity to do something that none of those guys has ever done, which is actually go back-to-back and then get his team back to a Super Bowl for a third time.
I agree with you. The historical perspective on Reid, I think, is something we need to dive more into. In the meantime, how about his coaching counterpart? We just had a long conversation about Kyle Shanahan. Can Kyle get the Niners over the hump? Can he or can't he?
No, I don't think he can, especially with this core of players. It's not going to happen. These guys are going to get more expensive. They're getting older, and I'm not sure that the productivity is going to be able to match up. And we also have to consider that this is a healthy 49ers team. Outside of all-pro safety Hufanga, they had all of the guys that they were going to be relying on from last year in the Super Bowl, and they didn't get it done. Debo's not going to get any healthier. George Kittle's not going to get any healthier. Trent Williams is in his mid-30s. And you're talking about Brandon Ayuk and Fred Warner and all of those guys being in line, needing contracts because they're going into contract years in 2024.
So those are big picture questions about the Niners. And that's fair and that's fine, and we can deal with their offseason. I just want to hold it up for a minute here because we had a very good debate over here about Kyle Shanahan and how much blame he should get for the loss on Sunday. And it's worth pointing out that he has been in 3 Super Bowls now. 1 as a coordinator, 2 as a head coach. In each of them, his teams have had double-digit leads, and he's lost all 3. There were obviously the overtime rules thing and all the rest of that. Just on your radio show, for those that don't hear it every morning, Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio, how much blame do you put on the head coach for their losing on Sunday?
I put all the blame on Kyle Shanahan. And here's the thing, the overtime rule was egregious. No matter how you want to slice it, if his rationale was planning for the third possession, which is not a guarantee, then it should have been 4-down territory once he gets the ball in the red zone on the first drive in overtime. It made no sense on 2nd and 4 not to try to throw the ball into the end zone. You wait for an obvious passing down on 3rd down. Spags dials up a blitz. Your offensive line blows the protection. You miss a wide-open Brandon Ayuk in the end zone. And then on 4th down, you kick a field goal knowing that you're giving the ball back to 15 and knowing that it's going to be 4-down territory for those guys. And guess what? They actually converted on a 4th down when they were backed up in their own territory. So why would you do that if you're going to take the ball in overtime? Why would you not? Why would you not?
Yell at him.
We literally just said that.
No, you didn't say that.
I said the exact thing. They don't coincide. If you're going to make that decision, you got to go for it on 4th. We literally said the exact thing.
We agree with Chris. We just turned down the hyperbole a little bit and didn't say we completely blame Shanahan.
Yeah.
There were other things that happened. That decision at the end hurt them by a couple percentage points of win probability. It did not cripple them. They still had a chance to win. It's something that is not completely irrational decision to make. We're just saying that this team did not only lose because they took the ball in overtime.
And
Hold on. Let me say this, though, real quick. I'm not saying that was the only bad decision that Kyle Shanahan made.
fair.
I was just saying that was the most egregious one.
Right.
We could talk about the 3 straight 3-and-outs to start the second half where he threw the ball 8 of the 9 times on those possessions. Like, he didn't get any points off of the pick.
Okay, but here's the thing.
How about the timeouts he didn't call at the end of the first half? How'd you like those? Go ahead, fellas. Yell at him. He's bigger than you.
I'm going to say this. So when do we put the game on the players, right? So when do we say you can't muff a punt? You can't get an extra point blocked. You can't get you can't.
The punt wasn't a muff.
That
was a lousy break. The ball hit the back of the leg.
But whatever it is, you can't have the best player in football fumble it in the red zone. Like
blow protection.
Listen, you can't blow protection on 3rd down. Listen, man, I get it. Like you can get on Shannon. You can do, and again, does he have some responsibility? Absolutely. But the game is played on the field.
I know what it is. Y'all just mad that Purdy wasn't bad enough to blame him. So you decided that you know what? You know who we gonna blame? We're gonna blame Kyle Shanahan. That's what it boils down to.
I think the 49ers win.
That's what it is. You mad that Kyle made it wrong.
No, but here's my point, though. Those bad breaks that you're talking about with the 49ers, the Chiefs had them too. Pacheco had a fumble inside the 10-yard line. That happened.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes threw a pick to start the second half that set the 49ers up in plus territory.
Agreed.
Who threw the pick?
Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. You got Patrick Mahomes on your team. There's a difference. And we talked about this yesterday. Andy Reid
That's
was
not the
Kyle
point.
Shanahan until we got Patrick Mahomes.
Hold on, Dom. The point that I'm making is one team took advantage of the miscues of the other one didn't. One team scored points off of turnovers, the other one didn't.
But when you're saying one team, we act like San Francisco got boat raced, bro. They went to overtime, dang near double overtime, with the people we're saying are the best to ever do it. Yeah. And by the way, one player really separated himself on the final drive. And it wasn't because of incredible coaching. This dude, Mahomes, kept making play after play after play.
May I? If only the other team had known that they had him and thus could have made their schedule, made their plan in the overtime around the fact that the other guy has
4 quarters.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
All of the breaks that you were talking about, all the things that happen in every football game, right? Blocking assignments get messed up. A ball bounces funny.
Those are football extra point very often in a football.
So this is your best point. This is your best
point.
What
I'm saying is, when all of that happened, the game was tied. Yeah. And then you made a decision that went a long way, not a short way, but a long way towards how the game ended. And afterwards, several of your players acknowledged they didn't know the rule had changed, which it did 2 years ago, and it changed for all postseason games, not just Super Bowls. So this could have come up in any of their previous playoff games as well. Jeff, that's not so easy to defend.
Okay, I'm not trying to defend. It's embarrassing and it's concerning. What I'm saying is the players aren't playing it any different, irrespective if they know the rules, other than maybe celebrating had they scored a touchdown. The thing that I don't, whether you love it or hate the call of what Shanahan did, the two didn't coincide because of the way he ran his second, third, and fourth down. I get that part. But at the end of the day, they left the field with Brock Purdy having a 3-point lead on Patrick Mahomes. They had only given up 19 points at that time. So all the chips are in, bro. And you're Steve Wilkshire, all these guys. And they did convert 3rd and long. They did convert a 4th down. They did do those things. And listen, it's hard, but to lay it all on one coach saying he deserves full responsibility is that's not.
There's something to be said for the coach setting the tone, right? And so to take the ball, to take the ball, right, and to kick the field goal on 4th down instead of going for it, like that to me, that says you're playing a certain way, and it's a way that Kyle Shanahan should know not to play against Patrick. Like this is a guy that was on the wrong side of a blown 28-3 lead against Tom Brady, and on the wrong side of he had a 10-point lead halfway through the 4th quarter in the Super Bowl on Patrick Mahomes and lost by 11. Like if anybody should know 3's not enough points in that situation, it would be that guy.
I agree
to
with
me,
that part.
like I think there's and you can go back. End of the first half, all those decisions, like it was, Kyle had a bad game. He did. And when the games are decided in the margins, like they so often are, and like it absolutely was on Sunday, I think those kinds of decisions can end up being costly.
So you think Andy Reid was the difference maker in that game?
No.
Because it's not. It's freaking Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
That's the difference maker.
He didn't win the coin toss.
Have to overcome their coaching like the 49ers.
Nobody's arguing that he made the right choice. I think we're having like a splitting of hairs of how bad the choice was. I just don't think it was that bad of a decision. I don't think Kyle Shanahan cost him the game. Kyle Shanahan is a large part of the reason why they're in this game again and why they managed to put together competitors every season despite the fact that they traded a bunch of their draft picks for a quarterback that's no longer there. So I feel like an idiot all of a sudden being like, hey, Kyle Shanahan really cost him the game while he's manufacturing offense all year long.
But a couple of things, Don. First of all, there is no reason why you would take the ball first if you knew the rules in overtime. There's no reason.
Well,
there is reason.
What is the reason?
There's no reason.
But there is, though, Chris. And again, like I spent a lot of time.
Please explain it to me.
I spent a lot of time on the phone and text with people around the league who said that they might have done it differently, but they don't think it was clear cut. Like everybody has run these simulations and the numbers on what, and that's all you got because we don't have a history of this happening. It's the first time it's ever happened. So based on the data that people have at their disposal, I did not find an overwhelming support for, you got to kick it there.
Yeah, but there's nobody that's saying that, you know what, we're going to take the ball first in overtime. Of all the people that you're asking, Andy Reid didn't even say that.
I agree with you, and I would have definitely kicked and said that in the moment. And I think now that everybody saw what happened, the people will change their minds on it. But I don't think, again, there was some reasoning to it. It just didn't.
The decision off top was not a good one. What made it particularly bad was the point that you made, is that he didn't go go for it when they're down there.
Yes.
Because if you kick it, what you are then hoping for is that you hold them, you either stop them or you hold them to a field goal, and then they get the ball back and you're trying to kick a field goal. So like it feels like you can skip all of that nonsense.
That's right.
And you could either end the game or you could put yourself in the situation that you want to be anyway.
Final point, it is not disrespectful to Kyle Shanahan's coaching ability to say he had a bad game on Sunday. There were stretches of the game where Trent Williams, who's a Hall of Fame left tackle, didn't play well. Christian McCaffrey fumbled. Like, that doesn't mean we don't think those guys are great. But the fact is, you know, they made mistakes that helped cost them the game.
Quick final where you got to go back to the radio.
Yeah, I just don't understand the decision not to kick off and start overtime. There is no absolution in the first drive that you're going to get. There can be absolution in the second drive. The game can be over.
All right, again.
To play for the third drive that might not even happen makes no sense.